Hi everyone, I am Samir Ranjan Sahu and welcome to my channel Research Techniques, where you will get to know all the whats and hows of research. So today we will be looking into what is SCI, what is SCIE, Scopus, H-index and I-10 index. Okay, so let's start with what is actually a citation index. Okay, a citation index is nothing but a bibliography of index or index of citations to find any publication. In simply, we can say that it is a link between your publications and network database. Okay, you published a paper, okay, you published your research work, your research article, and now it is connected to the network database. So how to connect it with the network database? This SCI, SCIE, Scopus, these are the connection. Okay, these are the links which these are the database which links your publications to other network database, to the whole database of publications. Okay, and how is it useful? Simply, if someone else is citing you, okay, or you are citing someone else, how you are able to find it? Only because they are registered or they are linked through SCI, SCIE or Scopus. Okay, now what is SCI, SCIE or Scopus? See, SCI, SCIE or Scopus all are nothing but citation index. Okay, they are all citation index, but only difference is SCI and SCIE are owned by Clarivate Analytics, okay, while Scopus is owned by Elsevier. Okay, Scopus is owned by Elsevier. Now what is SCI? Okay, SCI is nothing but Science Citation Index. Okay, SCI is Science Citation Index and SCIE is Science Citation Index expanded. Okay, both are same, only difference is that of storage. SCI provides you a hard copy like magazine, CDs, DVDs. Okay, SCIE, the Science Citation Index expanded, does not provide you with a hard copy, they provide you with a soft copy. Okay, you can say cloud storage. Okay, it is only just a matter of storage, otherwise both of them are same. But we have come across another thing which is called as eSCI. What actually is eSCI? It is emerging SCI. That means if a particular journal is claiming that they are eSCI, that means they are not SCI or SCIE, they are on the way to become this one, they are on the way to become SCI or SCIE. Okay, only if they maintain a proper standard of publications, a proper standard of authenticity, relevance to their scope. Okay, only then only the emerging SCI will become an SCI or SCIE. Okay, so SCI and SCI are same, but it is not equal to or not same as eSCI. Okay, now yeah, it is only on acceptability and how they are cited. Okay, now moving on to the next, why SCI or SCIE? Okay, see, compared to Scopus, SCI or SCIE has a higher or a better coverage areas or scope of journals that has been that it has indexed with, that it has got indexed with. Okay, it has in its you can say in its basket. Okay, if SCI or SCIE has 1000 journals, okay, Scopus on the other hand will have around 700, 500, something like that. Okay, next, strict selection criteria with respect to their authenticity, quality, novelty and relevance. Okay, this is very, very important. Any SCI journals, if you have ever heard, and you must have heard, that SCI journals are very difficult to get published in. Why? Since they have a large coverage area, they have larger scope of research areas. Okay, to maintain their standard, their selection criteria is very strict. They see whether a work is authentic, it is a quality, it is novel work, a new work, and it is relevant to that particular scope of journal, okay, or relevant to the area of your field, okay, your research field. Next is the editorial decisions are done by in-house experts who have no affiliation to any publishing houses or research institutes. Why this is a benefit? See, suppose you are affiliated to some institute or some organization and you have been given a research article to review, okay, however honest you might be, but there will always be a soft corner, okay, if that research article has come from your institute only or your organization only, okay, there will always be a soft corner. So in one, even if it is a small amount, you will get somewhat biased, okay. That biasness is not is removed here, okay. There will be no biasness here since they are not affiliated to any institutes or any publishing houses also, okay. They are experts, okay, but not affiliated to anyone, so they will provide you with unbiased results, unbiased reviews, okay. Next is cover to cover indexing. What is cover to cover indexing? That means all the SCIE indexed journals will ask every detail about all the authors who are who have contributed to that particular research work, okay, their affiliations, their email IDs. They won't leave anyone behind. If even there is a small contribution, they will ask for that, okay. Next is there will be smooth tracking of ideas, innovations that have either been applied or granted, and who's setting in your work in which corner of the world. All things is very, very easy, okay, and very smooth. How? If you are registered, if you have created account in Publons, you can get this one, okay. Now this is all about why we have to go for SCI or SCIE and why they are difficult to publish. It is simple, they are maintaining their standard, okay. So let's move on to the next part, that is H index. It is also known as Hirsch's index. So what is H index? It is defined, you can say it can be defined as the highest number of publications cited by other authors, other researchers, and each of them has been cited with exactly the same number of times, okay. You might get confused. Let's let's uncover it some more. It is nothing but highest number of publications and each of them has been cited by the exact number of times, okay. Let's see an example. Suppose you have found that your H index is 7, okay. That means total of you have 7 publications, okay, and each of them has been cited by other researchers, other authors at least 7 times. That means suppose you have around 10 published journals, okay. Out of those there are 7 research articles, okay, 7 research published articles that have been cited at least 7 times. So you have got a H index of 7. If there are 10 articles and all of them have been cited more than 10 times, then your H index increases to 10, okay. And remember it is only the highest number, okay. Suppose there are 10 and out of those 10 there are 5 journals who have been cited, each has been cited 5 times, and other 5 have each been cited 7 times, okay. So your H index will be how much? 5, okay, because 5, and you at least there should be 5 citations, each should have been 5 citations If it is more, it is not a problem, but it is the highest number of publications, and each should have been set at the exact number of times at least. So that at least number becomes your H index. Okay. Now next comes the I10 index. Okay, this is, you can say, somewhat similar but not exactly. See, I10 index tells you that any publication, okay, it should have been set at least 10 times. Okay, that's why I10. Each one publication, if it is set at 10 times, that will show you your I10 index. Okay, suppose you have I10 index of 5, that shows that, or let's say 9, your I10 index is 9, that shows that there are 9 published articles from your side that has been cited 10 times or more. Okay, 10 times or more. Okay, that is your I10 index. Now let's see what are the advantages and disadvantages. See, H index provides a direct comparison and impact measurement with a single value. Okay, that means with single H index, okay, you can directly see whether a particular individual, a particular group, what is their contribution, okay, how much their work has been cited. The disadvantage is that the H index uses only the journals which is indexed in Web of Science, which is registered to Web of Science. If your work is published in a journal and that journal is not registered in Web of Science, then it will not be calculated. That is one disadvantage. Whereas I10 index, it is very simple, easy and free to use. The problem is it can only be used in Google Scholar. Okay, and yes, the H index or Hershey's index and I10 index, they are used to measure the impact of an individual. If you remember, there is an impact factor. The impact factor is for the journal, whereas H index or I10 index is the impact factor of that particular individual. Okay, that means how much other researchers have cited your work. Okay, how much they have liked your work, what is the impact of your work in their research. Okay, so what are the tools? Well, H index can be calculated using Web of Science or Google Scholar. Okay, whereas I10 index, as said, only in Google Scholar. Okay, let's see an example. Okay, I am here in Google Scholar. Okay, let's type in professor's or scientist name. Since I was working on passive coolings, and in India, Professor Samir Khandekar, okay, is a very renowned name. He is from IIT Kanpur. Okay, let's see his profile. See, his H index is 36 overall and I10 index is 82, and since 2016 it is 29 and 63. Okay, so see, you can imagine what is his contribution. Let's compare it with another faculty, K. Murlidhar, 3285. Okay, this is 3682. So see, this is, you can say, a comparison between two individuals or two groups, okay, from the same field. Okay, they both are almost from the same field, almost, not exactly. Okay, so you can get an idea. Okay, and how you can calculate this? If you have, since in Google Scholar they have calculated, otherwise you can use Publons. Publons is, you can say, a part of Web of Science, and all of this Web of Science Publons, these are all owned by Clarivate Analytics. Okay, I will share that link on how Publons is useful. Okay, and how you can create an ID. If you press the I icon in the top right corner, you can find that video, and So I think that will be all for today. So I hope this was useful, and thanks for being with me, and stay tuned for more What's and Hows of Research.